I still couldn't understand why they attacked him. They are the ones who decided that they were going to attack my son and kill him.
This is the bus stop where Stephen Lawrence was brutally stabbed to death in a savage racial attack.
It'd be very unfortunate if this man comes out and then go and do the same thing that to another family, the way he's done it to my family.
And do you feel like there's still a chance that the others could be convicted if there is new evidence?
Well, I'm hoping, it's only a hope because as so far as I can see, or I can gather so far, I haven't been able to get my solicitor to say, well, when he says this or when he says that, they're going to arrest these people. He holds all the key evidence because he was part of the people who were there. And there was rumors that there was one of those guys had a hammer. And I want to know whether or not he was the one with the hammer. And if he had a hammer, he's going to be hitting my son with the hammer somewhere in his head or in his back or something like that. So he was part of the progress of killing my son.
Can you tell us what you are going to say in your victim impact statement at the parole hearing?
I want to hear if he's genuinely sorry about what he did. His part in taking my son's life. I want to hear some of the reason that he gives for doing that. I don't know whether or not what he's going to be saying is going to be a truthful thing that he's going to be trying to change his way of living, or if he's going to come out and do the same things that he used to do before. It'd be very unfortunate if this man comes out and then go and do the same thing that to another family, the way he's done it to my family.
It says in that report that was published in March that he denies holding racist views.
For me, if I was part of that parole board, he'd have to genuinely tell me that he's completely changed his views about seeing people on the street and what he would he pass a black person, call him a or something like that still, as he changed his attitude towards others. That's one of the main things I would like to know from him. And is the parole board is going to ask him that in public and hear the answers when he gives it. Well, for the past so many years, the general public have been helping our family, and I felt if that's the public has done a lot to help us during all these years, it should have been whenever he comes out with the idea that he wants to be let out of prison, that the public should be there to see and hear exactly what he's saying.
And I think the last time you would have seen him was at the trial, which was 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts or feelings about seeing him when we go to the parole hearing?
No, I don't have no thoughts of seeing him because I got no hatred against him anymore. All the hatred that I had has been let go. I'm now just a normal, everyday person. And some of the things I was thinking earlier after he was sent to prison was if it was possible to find a way to see him walking down the road and run over him with my car and all these kind of bad things that I was thinking. And I then realized that I wasn't supposed to be doing that. And so I decided that maybe it would be a good thing to get baptized. In order to do that, I had to go and ask the pastor if I had to go and ask permission from him to forgive him, or if I had to be friends with him if I had to forgive him. And then I was told that I didn't have to ask him, I didn't have to be friends with him, I could just do it. And so I did. I have forgiven all of them. And all the bad thoughts that I had has gone so far, which I'm really glad about.
If you could send one message to David Norris before the parole hearing, what would that be?
My message would be to him is that you've served so many years in prison. You've known what you did was wrong, and you refused to give the information in the early days to have all the other boys that were with you to go to trial so that they could be also sent to prison. And I need you to say exactly who was there with you that night, because we now know that you were there. And we need to know also what's going to be your attitude towards others. Are you going to be a normal, everyday person like everybody else? Or are you still going to carry those views that you had when you stabbed my son?
Do you still think there's a chance of getting justice for Stephen?
Well, we had some justice, but I don't think we're going to get full justice. In order for us to get full justice, for there are other people who are involved to be tried and sent to prison. He is lucky he's able to try and get parole, to walk out of prison. My son can't walk out of the grave. He's dead.
Now that we have had some sort of justice, I want people to think of Stephen other than a black teenager murdered in a racist attack in southeast London in April 1993. I know this is a fact, but I now want people to remember him as a bright, beautiful young man who any parent of whatever background would have been proud of. I miss him with a passion. Hopefully now he can rest in peace.
My dream as a child was to be an architect. I didn't go to art school or anything. I could draw anything. And these kids, none of my children went to art school and they can draw anything. And when it was time for Stephen to decide what he wanted to do, and he said that he was going to be an architect. And I felt really good that maybe my son would be making houses and things, and I'd be driving down the street and I'd see one of Stephen's house that he designed and built. And these people took that away from my son and my family. I feel that it's very unfair that these people took my son's life 32 years ago. These two people spend some time in prison, and they are going to be able, if they are given parole, if they do get parole, they're going to be able to come out and walk up and down like a normal, everyday person. And my son would never be able to do that because he's dead. And it's because of these people that robbed me of my son being here. I'm getting old, and I'm sure my son would be looking after me in my old age, if it's even a few bob now and again to give me. He hasn't been able to do that because of these people. And they robbed my family and robbed me of my son.